How to read the routing table of a Cisco router. So I'm actually reading a book, and this is the book. And I got this table here from that book, and I thought that make a video about it. Um, so basically, the these are the descriptions of the show IP route command output. So I have a topology here. This is the topology that I've been using. Um, so been using for my last two videos, I think. And so I actually um, have this terminal opened. This is I'm actually on the core switch in this case. So I did a show IP route, and I'm also on R1 here, and I also did the same command. So let me go back here. Yeah, this is the book that I'm reading. But yeah, I just, got this, I'm, screenshot this table and pasted it in this uh, Google Doc. So item one, classful network, value in the figure description. Sorry, item, idea, value in the figure description. So I'm gonna talk about this sequentially. So one, so classful network. This is an example of a classful network. So the routing table, it says here under the description column, the routing table is organized by classful network. This line is the heading line for classful network 10.0.0.0. It lists the default mask for Class A networks. So it says here that the routing table is organized by classful network. So we have 172 classful network and 192 classful network, or specifically 172.16, 172.16.0.0 slash 16, I think. I'm not really sure, but you can just uh, check. I will check also, and that would be class B, and class C is 192.168.0.0 slash 24. I think. I'm not so sure. So I have to double check after this video. But uh, you get the point. The routing table is organized by the classful networks. And to give you an example of that here, this is a classful network here, 10.0.0.0 slash 8. So in this case, the routing table of core switch, and by the way, in this case, this core switch is, a layer 3 switch, and it's doing IP routing. So that's item number one. Item number two, number of subnets. So here, this is the number of subnets. As an example, 8 in this example. So if you count 1 through 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's why it says 8 subnets. So let me read the description. Lists the number of routes for subnets of the classful network known to this router from all sources, including local routes, the slash 32 routes that match each router uh, interface IP address. So I hope you understand that. And item number three, number of masks. So 5 masks. Uh, this is actually referring to a a routing table in the book, but I'm showing you another a different routing table in this case, just to make it kind of a little realistic, right? So in this case, 5 masks. I mean the number of masks. So in our example, we have 3 masks. So it's just talking about the subnet masks. We have /25, /32, and /24. We have 3 different subnet masks in this case. So let me read the description. The number of different masks used in all routes known to this router inside this classful network. So, oops, let me do the command again. For some reason, oh, okay. And item number 4, legend code. So we have CLO, a short code that identifies the source of the routing information. O is for OSPF, D is for AIGRP, C is for connected, S for static, and L for local. See example 24-4 for a sample of the legend. So I'm going to give you an example of these. So S, this is for, it says here static, C connected here, L local, and we don't have, let me let me go to R1 so I can give you the B. So B is for BGP here. We have a route coming from that is learned via BGP. So that's legend code, item number 4. Item number 5, subnet ID. So this is an example of subnet ID here in the table. So description, the subnet number of this particular route. So the subnet number of this particular route. So it's just talking about this here. These are subnet IDs, right? Subnet IDs. Here's subnet IDs. Prefix length. So this is it's talking about this /30 /30 /32 /8. So it's just talking about that. The prefix mask used with the subnet. Item number 7. This item number 7 is administrative distance. So let me give you an example of that. Let me go to the core switch. So here, let's take this default static route as an example. So here, in this case, administrative distance. This is the administrative distance, I believe, 1. So if a router learns routes for the listed subnet from more than one source of routing information, the router uses the source with the lowest administrative admin distance. Let me read that again. If a router learns routes for the listed subnet from more than one source of routing information, the router uses the source with the lowest administrative distance. It's just saying that if the router learns routes uh, coming from 2 different sources, the router chooses the source that has I mean, chooses the route that has the lower administrative distance or AD. Item number 8, this is it's talking about this value here. So this is admin distance and this is metric. So in this case, the metric of this default static route is 0. And next hop, item number 9, um, next hop router. So basically, this is the next hop router. So let me go back here to the topology. So this router, its next hop router to get to this default route, it needs to go via this router, which is in this case R1. So that's the next hop in this case. So let me read the description. For packets matching this route, the IP address of the next router to which the packet should be forwarded. So basically the next hop router. So it's a pretty self uh, explanatory. Item number 10, timer. So this is the the time since the route was first learned. So in this case, here, uh, no, it's not. It's got no timer. Let me do that command again. Let me go to R1. So here, this is the time where when R1 learned uh, where is this route? So admin distance 20, metric 0 via this IP, which is in this case ISP router, and this is the time when this route was first learned. So I believe this is, let me go into that router ISP. Let me change the font so you can read it a little better. Okay, apply. So I think this is, no, actually this is the route between ISP router and R2, as you can see here. So show IP interface brief. Yeah, so R2. Let me go back to R1. Yeah, this is the route between ISP uh, router and R2, and R1 is learning that route via this interface, dot two, right? Or ISP router. Um, so for OSPF and AIGRP routes, this is the time since the route was first learned. So last but not the least, outgoing interface. So this is an example of an outgoing interface. So for packets matching this route, the interface out to which the packet should be forwarded. So in this case, let me go back to my example here. Let me go back to R1. This is a better example, I believe. Outgoing interface. No, it's not listing the outgoing interface in this case. But let me go to the core. Yeah, this route doesn't show it's not showing the outgoing interface, but um, let me go here. Let me see if we can IP route, show IP route. Yeah, show IP route. Yeah, um, no, it's not showing the outgoing interface. Um, well, it does show the outgoing interface, but for example here, R1, let me go back here. Where is it? So to get to this connected route here, it's showing the outgoing interface in this case. So to get to this route, for this R1 to get to this route, that route needs to go out this subinterface. So this is the subinterface configured on this router R1. right? And that is where that IP address is configured here. I think it's better if we have EIGRP or SPF configured on the routers, but we don't have EIGRP or SPF configured on these routers. Yeah, but I hope that you get the point. It's just talking about the outgoing interface where the device is going to forward the packet. So, yep, and that's it in this video. Thanks for watching.